I just got it to do it, and look how far the variance is out. I got a 2011 Lincoln Navigator. It has the 5.4 in it, and the customer says he'll drive it a while and all of a sudden the idle starts fluctuating. I don't know what's wrong with it. Haven't scanned it, hadn't done nothing. This is live action. Let's get in it. Let's try to figure out what's wrong with this Lincoln. So we're just going to listen to the engine. I don't really hear anything right now, but we'll plug a scan tool up also and see what we got going on. Yep, that's the 5.4. Sounds pretty normal. Now the customer also mentioned that this only happens after he drives it a while, like 10, 15, 20 minutes. So I'm going to let it sit here and warm up, and then we're going to get in it, and then I'm going to put my scan tool on it, and we're going to see if we can just see what he's talking about, or if we can even duplicate the issue. Because if you can't duplicate the issue, how are you going to fix it? We have some concerning codes. I haven't got it to do what the customer said it was doing, but we have some cam position sensor performance codes. So in the PCM, we have cam position circuit performance, bank 1 fault, and also we have a cam position sensor range circuit performance. So what does that mean? It could mean it's out of time. The timing chains are stretched a little. It's possible. It's a 5.4 Ford with 60,000 miles. I really want it to duplicate the issue to see. I'll try to drive it a little more. If not, we'll look up his code and see what all it entails to troubleshoot this. Okay, these are the data PIDs you want to look at if you are suspecting something out of time on a Ford. The error is actually, so if it's trying to, let's say, advance the cam 30 degrees and it can't quite get there and there's 10 degrees left, it should show right here in the error. These essentially should be the same, and we're just looking at bank 2 here. So this will kind of give you an easy understanding of how the VVT works. Now, something you got to be careful with is sometimes you can snap throttle it and the error will kind of go high. I don't like to pay too much attention to that, but I really want to reproduce the issue and see if this error is, 20, 30 degrees out of time while the engine idle is loping. So that's what I'm really trying to do. That way I can confirm the complaint and the issue at the same time. I'm going to drive it again, see if we can get it to do it. I just got it to do it, and look how far the variance is out. Holy cow. It's shaking. You could probably see the steering wheel. See it? Yeah. That is crazy. So let me put it in drive and see if it still does it. So look at the error. So they're stuck. They should not be. This is the actual, so this is the error. Wow, and it's running really rough. I'm going to drive it. I'm going to try to put it back in reverse. Oh, they came unstuck. Wow, that was crazy. It's straightened out now. Doing it again. You can see right there, look at the error. That's bank 2. You can see it's trying to pull it back, but it just can't. And it shouldn't be like that, because one shouldn't phase and the other. So this is bank 1. They should look more like these. This is the actual for bank 1. And this is the error. So that one's way off, most definitely. It's making a horrible sound. Yeah, you can actually hear the phaser. So you can hear the phaser clacking on bank 2. Here's my mic. Wasn't that crazy? I mean, oh my gosh. Are the phasers getting stuck? I mean, it sure seems like it. Let's see if it threw any more codes, because I just cleared them. Yes, it did. It threw them all again. Timing over retarded, range performance. So we didn't have this one before. Camshaft timing over retarded. Bank 2. That's the one that was going crazy. So are we done with this? Does it need cam phasers and a chain? Probably does. But there's an oil control solenoid involved in this. But it seems like it's working intermittently. It's the next day and I just thought of something. Why didn't I check the oil level? I don't know. I deserve the bad comments on this one. That should have been the first thing I checked, especially when you're dealing with the VVT issue, which is oil controlled. Ugh. It's full. Let's go look up them codes on service info and we'll come up with a game plan. This is one of our codes here, 3046. It's right there. And it says, is the code present? Yes. Go to DR2. Check if engine starts. It does. Clear and attempt retrieve the DTC. Ignition on, clear the DTC, ignition on running, increase speed to 1500 RPMs for 10 seconds, repeat 3 times. And then it's basically asking, does the code come back? So let's do that and see if the code comes back immediately. This will just give us some information. Okay, so it wants us to clear the codes. So let's do that. And then it wants us to start it up. One came back, that's just incomplete monitor. Then we have to start it up, run it at 1500 RPM and do that 3 times and see if any of those codes come back. Oh, I just heard them phasers clanking. Oh my gosh, I just heard them phasers go clink, 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 clink. So I'm not going any further with this diagnosis. I mean, what's the point? They're in there chattering, but the question really is it not getting enough fuel pressure at the head? Or is the VVT solenoid not letting the oil get to it like halfway and it's not filling up the VVT phaser? I mean, I guess the only way to figure out if that's what it is to unplug it, because I don't want to just replace a part and guess. So I'm going to try to check out this, try to figure out what we should do with this VVT solenoid to confirm. I know I've unplugged them in the past and we've never had an issue, but this phaser, if it's not coming back and locking in its lock pin position, which it sounded like right when I started up, it wasn't locked, and they should be on startup. So what's the best method here? So if we watch the duty cycle, this is 2. This is the one we had the most trouble out of. This is should tell us if the VVT solenoids are working correctly. So when I raise this RPM up, they should change. We should see this degree change. So we're kind of looking at this one and this one. I don't think we're going to see the error because it only happened after you drove this thing forever. Let's take the error off because it's a little confusing. clean up our data PIDs a little. We can watch these cams advance while we put the throttle down as the duty cycle goes. They're both pretty much the same. If we remember earlier in the video, I needed to do, I don't know if I recorded this, but or told y'all about this. You have to drive this car for a while and then let it set for a few minutes and do a hot soak, and then that's when we get the problems of the phaser not going back into its right location. So I've already driven it on since I've unplugged the VVTs. And so now I want to see if this problem reoccurs after the VVT solenoids are unplugged. Okay, I have it all pulled up. Here's our error, here and here. Here's our actual. I'm going to start it. So I'm going to put it in gear. And it's not doing it. I'm going to drive it a bit, see if I can get it to do it. Well, I unplugged them and now I've driven it for miles, no issues. So we've locked out the cams. I'll talk to the customer and see what they want to do. The only option is put new phasers or put a lockout kit. You can put phaser lockout kits in these. I don't really like that. I feel like it's just patching the problem, but you know, low oil pressure is always an issue, and I've checked the oil pressure on these before, and you're gonna, when you check it, you only check it at the bottom end, and this is oil pressure to top end. There's no port up there. Trust me, I've been down this road. So I think the best solution would be put new chains and guides on it, put a lockout kit in it, and be done with it. Never have to deal with it again. I've done that before. It works great. So that's what I'm going to recommend. Or you can just leave them unplugged and drive it with the check engine light. Either way, it's up to him. It's not up to me. I can just give him my recommendation. Also, I noticed this thing is not rolling in neutral, and when you hit the brakes, there is something sticking in the brakes. So let's do a heat check. So I got the thermal imager, and this caliper is about 218. Of course, the rotor is going to be really hot. Looks like it's rubbing a little there. But if you come over to this side, this one here is a lot hotter. I mean, look at that thing. It's glowing. It's 378. You can see it in the top left corner. It's a lot hotter. That's way too hot. Let's see, the rear ones are only 159. I don't really like to see over 300. And this one here is only about 157. So I'll let the customer know that there's a brake issue too. Let's go ahead and check the ohms on these VVT solenoids. I want to compare them bank to bank. They should be around 10 ohms, give or take a few. And while it's still hot, because I'm pretty sure that this is just oil flow going to the VVT, or the actual VVT phaser is not working correctly. Okay, I'm going to try to get you focused in on the VVT solenoid plug-in, and I'm going to put in some test leads in there. And now I'm going to hook up my meter. Yep, 10 ohms, that's good. Let's check the other side. This one's a lot easier to get to. Yeah, this one's also the same, about 10 ohms. All right, we're going to take it a step further, and I'm going to electrically control the solenoids with my jump box. So I'll show you my setup. I just have the two wires hooked up to my jump box. So whenever I hit this, I can actually hear that click down there. So I know the solenoid's at least clicking, but I want to take it a little bit further. I want to run the truck and I want to hear an idle change. Okay, so I have the engine running, and you can see here, if I can get you in the shot, this is the one we're looking at, bank 2. So when I click this on here, we should see this is actual phaser degrees, so it should retard. So let's see. Yep, it did. And when I do that, I hear a rattle. This is amazing. You hear that? Let me put my mic down closer. I hope you all heard that, but it's making a rattling sound. So I'm done. That confirms it. This thing needs some VVT phasers, everything, chain, all. But I'm going to see what he wants to do. There's a few different ways we can go about this, but wasn't that cool? We actually heard the thing rattle. Well, I talked to the customer about the Lincoln Navigator, and they do not want to fix anything on it. They really just wanted to see what all's going on with it so they can make a decision on if they want to buy it or not. It was like a family's vehicle, some sort of deal. I know I've unplugged those VVT solenoids before on the F-150s, and you can just drive them like that. I mean, yeah, you got to check engine light, but you know, if the car's got a lot of miles on it and you don't want to spend all that money, you know, I don't recommend doing that. I'd rather fix it perfect because that's just what I like to do. But you know, it's up to the customer at the end of the day. And but anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, and I really appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully we learned something, and I'll catch you guys in the future on the next video maybe.